connection at work. All right. All right, Shiloh, you're going to have to stay so quiet. All right. Hello, everyone out there. What is going on? Coming to you live on Facebook and hello there on YouTube. Once again, another Sunday with my sweet pea and me. I'm Serene. And today I actually have a very special guest with me today. It's my son. This is Sion.
All right. What's up?
All right. So I dragged him on here today because my topic, I wanted him to actually sound off a little bit on it. So the topic is my 4-year-old does not need a resume. And, you know, and subtitle is that my frustration once again with the school tours. So many of you know I am in the process of doing school tours for my daughter, who's actually in the background. So you might hear her a little bit, hopefully not too much. But we're doing school tours right now. She's going to kindergarten in September. We are here in New York, and specifically the Bronx, New York. And the process to looking for schools right now has been really grueling. My son went to school, so my son and my youngest son, they went to school in Lower Manhattan. And so now I find myself, we're going through this process and we want to put our daughter in the Bronx, in a school here in the Bronx. And, you know, we're having a little bit of a hard time because we're getting people telling me on these tours that I'm not going to find what I am looking for in an elementary school. And you know, I really don't want to hear that. That's not something you tell a parent on a tour. So for those of you who follow me and those of you who have seen my posts on Instagram, it's no secret that I'm really big into progressive education. And really what that means is a program that's very inquiry based, that allows children to explore, that allows children to have experiences as their way of learning. You know, book smart and being, you know, in the books and studying and the homework and all of that is great for some things, but I don't think that it's the key for all things. And so I actually have Sion on with me today because I was telling him earlier about this broadcast today, and I was telling him, you know, talking to him about his experience in the school he went to. So for elementary school, he and his brother went to a school that is a progressive education school. And so he had a little bit of insight on that. And so I wanted him to, you know, talk to me about, and talk to you as viewers about what he experienced in his elementary school versus then when he moved on to a middle school that was actually a much more traditional middle school. So I didn't find a progressive middle school for him. He went to a different type of middle school. And so he was talking to me a little bit about that experience and how it was kind of a shock, you know, to his system. So I guess I'll ask, he was like, is this going to be like an interview? So we're not going to do like an interview, but.
No, I was good. Just ask.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell them about your experience at your school, at your elementary school, and what that was like for you, and if you could summarize like what you learned there and the style of learning, what would you like? How would you categorize that? How would you describe that rather?
So like the style of learning was really like we were taught in a more fun way that made like me and really everyone who's there want to learn, because it was like it was, you know, we learned in a very fun way. And like my elementary school, generally we did a lot of fun things that at the time I didn't think had to do anything with school, but like later on, like now, even in middle school, I realized that like
and so he's in high school now.
Yeah, I'm a sophomore, but like I realized like a lot of the things that I was taught carried on with me into middle school and into high school, even if it wasn't necessarily like math, science, English, stuff like that, but just like things like dance. We did like plays. We did a lot of I don't know the word. What is it? Extracurricular?
Right.
a
Yeah.
bunch of that kind of stuff, like that just carries on like skills besides just like typical learning. Like,
So what would you say if you could remember, like recall any like one experience that stood out for you?
like educational wise, or
I
just,
guess
like at
with
school?
at the school, yeah,
At
or
the
maybe
school.
even a couple of things because you were naming earlier like a couple of things that you were just like, we did
Yeah.
this, we did that, we did, you know.
So my favorite class was always like dance,
Okay.
and it was we was dancing, but like we also were just doing a lot of active things. We were able to like just run around, and you know we were like also choreographing sometimes. And at the time, like I like dancing or whatever, so like it was fun. And then we also like what the dances that we learned, like we took onto the stage, and we used to like perform like every 2 3 weeks. We used to perform. The parents used to come in. Other classes used to watch us, like that kind of stuff. Even in music, we used to learn songs, perform the songs in front of everyone, and what else? Plays. We did plays like I remember fourth grade. I did the Wiz.
Yeah.
I played for that. Everyone came. They came. My mom, my dad. Everyone came. They probably saw a video of it, but
Yeah.
it was things that, and in the play, like we worked on the play like every day for like 45 minutes. Like we made our own costumes. We, you know,
Design the
rehearsed,
set.
design the set, rehearse all the time during the school hours. So like,
Yeah. So it wasn't an after school thing.
yeah, it wasn't after school thing.
And so I know that we also did the camping trips.
Can it be? Yeah, Frost Valley, Black. What is it called?
Black Rock Forest.
Yeah, Black Rock Forest.
Yeah.
First grade. A lot of trips.
Yeah. You guys swam. You did swimming.
Swimming all the time. But swimming was like every Thursday or Friday, something like that.
Yep.
In first grade, always. It was always like going somewhere. Like we were always moving around. Even when we were just doing like writing English work, like we would go to like the garden that was not far away. We would look at like some of the plants, just describe them, just write them down. But like at least you were like outdoors, like doing
Yeah.
some things. Then we would come back, bring it back, and just look at it, whatever.
So do you remember things like social studies specifically at that school and like
Yeah.
and science? So you feel like you learned, like even though it was fun and it was hands on and stuff, you know that you did science stuff.
Yeah, like a lot of like it's hard to explain, but like at the time it didn't seem like I was really learning. Like I mean I knew I was learning, but like it seemed more fun than anything. But as I got to middle school, things that I just came naturally to me because of how I learned it in PS3, which was my elementary school. Like I realized like, oh, that's what this was for. Like for example, we used to do things with like lyrics in my elementary school. That was like we would just listen to music and we would just look at the lyrics and like talk about what those lyrics mean to us or whatever. And then we did like skits based off of the lyrics. And at the time it was just like fun and everything. But when I got to middle school and we started reading and we used to talk about like symbolism within the books and what the characters mean and what they're trying to say, it came really easy because like I already worked with lyrics and doing the same exact thing except for a book versus a song. But
Right.
it was really the same thing.
Right, and it's all because it's all literature. It's all
Yeah.
writing. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Writing a song is, comparable to writing a poem, comparable to writing a novel. So it's
Yeah.
it's still using those techniques of writing.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that and just bringing it back to the original name of this broadcast. So I went to a school tour, and at this tour, this principal kept talking about for my daughter who's going to kindergarten. Oh, they're gonna need this kind of rigorous curriculum so that they can build their resume. And and my thing is this. I understand she's going to be an adult one day. I understand she's going to be a teenager one day. I understand that she's going to high school one day. And I want her to be able to thrive in whatever environment that she's in. But the problem that I have with saying that you're trying to build her resume right now is that she hasn't been exposed to so many things right now for me to even know what's going to be on her resume. You know what I mean? Right now, it's about the experiences, not about the writing of the resume already. And I understand that getting the experiences will build her resume. Will some of those experiences will be added to her resume. But for me, when I think about a resume, my resume has all of my things on it that I did in the field of education. Because if I'm going for a job nowadays, I'm going for a job in my field. And so I've experienced other things, but those things are not on my resume right now. You know what I mean? Because they might not have had to do with the field that I'm in, right? They were just that. They were experiences. And experiences help us to shape who we're going to be. And then those experiences and the shape that we like, the shape that we find, those are the things that we put on our resume, right? Does that make sense to you?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So one of the things that we talked about was his transition to middle school. So his middle school was I wouldn't even say slightly, but maybe it was a different experience because it was much more traditional. So you were talking to me earlier about what that was like and what you felt like in that environment.
Yeah. What, middle school?
Yeah.
So like the transition, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, the transition to middle school was rough. Like since coming from an elementary school that was really, like I said, but like where we had like a lot of fun, and I was always like looking forward. Like I was looking forward to go to school. Middle school was nothing like that. Like it was just straight learning, all throughout the entire day. Like the only breaks we had was like lunch. So that was really it. And I just like didn't I didn't have a drive to go to school or to like learn. I mean, not necessarily learn, but like it just felt like there was no point in just being there because it was just so boring. And then I got behind on my work, and I was like, there's no point in even trying to get back on top of my work. And it was just like a lot of, just a lot of reasons why I just didn't really feel like, doing a lot of things in middle school.
Because you were saying to me earlier, it felt like when you were going to your elementary school, it felt like it was purpose, like every day to go there.
Yeah, there was always a purpose to go there. And in middle school, it felt like there was no purpose. So
what would have helped middle school experience be similar to that? And do you think that it would have been good if it would have been more like your elementary school experience?
Well, middle school would have been good?
Yeah, like would it have been beneficial to you? Like, do you feel like there was a benefit to your middle school being the way that it was?
Yeah, it was a benefit, like now in high school, because that's how schools typically are. Like middle school is like that, high school is like that. I'm not in college yet, but I'm sure colleges, like from what I hear about colleges, like that, like serious.
Okay.
You're there for your education, you're there to learn, you're there to get your good grades and all of that. So like, it really did help me middle school because that's, like I said, what it's going to actually be. But at the same time, the transition for me was bad. So I didn't really do that good in middle school. But like I did pick up on a lot of things that like helped me in high school. Now high school like is pretty easy for me.
Right, and noting that he's an honor roll student and in high school and everything, but that transition was definitely hard. So one of the things I had asked him earlier, and I wanted him to speak a little bit about, is does he regret, like if he had to do it again, because of course we placed him in the elementary school that we placed him in, and I reflected on this a little bit when he was in middle school. Like, did we put him in a elementary school that set him up for failure in middle school because of it being so different? And so I had asked him, like, do you regret, if you had to do it again, would you have preferred we put you in a elementary school that was different from what your elementary school was?
Like a general, like
a
typical middle school, like typical elementary school.
Yeah.
Like how my middle school was. So at first, like, hearing that, I was kind of thinking, yeah, it probably would have been better because in transition into middle school, like, would have been way easier. I would have had, like, better grades because I would have just been used to it. But then I think about it, like, nah, I would not want to do that because elementary school, it built a lot of my character. Like, if I went to a school like elementary school, like my middle school, I'll be dull. Like, I would really be.
You would be dull?
I'll be lame. Like, I would really be, like, I would have no character. Like nothing. Like.
Why do you say that though? What do you mean?
Because middle school is draining. high school is draining, like stressful, all of that. So like I would have been stressed for my whole life, and I can't do that.
Okay, so
I needed to know that life, there is some type of fun to your everyday.
okay.
It's like we do get breaks, and during the breaks are fun, but that has nothing to do with school. For the majority of the year, we're in school, so like, you know, I needed to know that, you know, school could be fun, could be, but
Right, that is not necessarily so.
yeah.
So what would you say now that you still carry with you from your elementary days? Like what things are, you know, made an impression in your life that it still holds true to today, like right now?
Holds true to today, like there's a lot of like really specific things that I've learned, like that help me in my classes, like my core classes like math, science, all that stuff. But like generally, big topic of my elementary school was like just to be yourself. Generally, that's what the topic of my elementary school was, right? And so I feel like that carries into my everyday, like just to be different. Like a lot of people my age, this generation, they don't take a lot of things serious. They don't really worry about their future and all that kind of stuff, which is really what everyone's doing. But like being different, like if I was never like really taught like that to just like be yourself, I could possibly just be rolling with the same crowd, like not really caring, stuff like that. But since I was at that school and like I know to, you know, be myself, do, you know, what it is that I want to do, like I still am working towards what I want to be in the future every single day, which is really not a lot of people are doing that, which is, I think, you know.
So you believe that your elementary school experience really attributed towards that?
Yeah.
What? And my last question for him before we you know, wrap it up. How would you say that elementary school and that experience, what specific things did it do to help you feel like yourself and be comfortable with in your own skin, be comfortable with yourself?
Well, in my elementary school, we were really just like free to do basically whatever, not crazy. Like schools, like for example, my school now, we wear a uniform. Everyone's wearing a uniform. Elementary school, we can wear whatever we want. Like we can come dressed up, whatever. I remember that I used to wear like a hat all the time in school. I had like headphones wrapped around my neck all the time, and it would just be okay because they would be like, yo, he's expressing himself or whatever. Like people would just, you know, we would do whatever. We did a lot of drawing to express ourselves. Like I said, dancing, music, and it was just like, you know, every form of art that you can express yourself in, especially with the stuff that you just wear. Like even though middle school, I didn't have to wear a uniform. There were still dress codes. Like there's certain things that we can and we cannot wear. We couldn't wear hats. We couldn't like have headphones, which is both things that I wore occasionally in elementary school. So just a lot of things that we did that.
And it's beneficial now to know that you can't wear hats in certain places because that's what life is like. You know what I mean? Exactly. It definitely is. So there definitely is a benefit to those rules and those restrictions and all of those things. But, you know, and this is the point that I want to make as far as when the elementary stages are hidden. You know, when you're in your elementary stage, they're so young and they're so, you're still molding and you're still helping them to understand who they are. So to put so many limitations and restrictions on them before they can even understand and get a better idea of who they are, or get an idea, period, of who they are, shutting them down so much because you're trying to just pour into them stuff. You know, this school that we were in, they were like, we make sure that they are exposed to Spanish right now in kindergarten so that they can be fluently writing it in 4th grade and in 5th grade. And I'm just like, that's great and everything, but I never heard one thing about their first day of kindergarten. This is how we welcome them in, and this is how we show them around so that they can be comfortable to know that this is their space and this is their school. Like there was nothing that said, here's the ownership of that school. Like wouldn't you say, and I think that at PS3 at your elementary school, the children definitely had a mark on the school. Like you could tell this was the school of the children, you know. Not so, you know, facility looking. Even in his school, I remember they used to, in the elementary school, there was a rule where you couldn't run down the hallway, like you couldn't run in the halls, which is great for safety, but you were able to
skip.
You were able to skip.
They used to skip. We
Right.
didn't even have to wear shoes.
Right, you
There
definitely
would just be
didn't.
people skipping with no shoes on through the hallway. Like,
They would, and the thing is, it was like, cause who's it harming? You know what I mean? Like it's not a safety issue. The floor is clean. Maintenance cleans the floor, so you're not stepping on tacks and things like that. But it was just like you were free to do it. That's it. And that's what I'm looking for in an elementary school. And I'm sick and tired of people telling me that because of the area that we live in, that we're not going to get that. Step it up then, you know? And then the last thing is that we were talking about the teachers. The type of teachers. You were saying your teachers at your elementary school were well-rounded. You know what I mean? Like name some of the things you say your teachers did that you remember about them.
Yeah, all right. I'm not gonna say like any names specifically, but like I had a teacher, my teacher who was like really with me through my whole life. She played guitar. She also like could sing, but she was also my teacher. I had another teacher who played basketball. I had another teacher.
And did she play it with you guys?
Yeah, she played basketball with us. I had another teacher who acted, and she acted with us like while we were doing our plays and all that. Like, I'm not saying my teachers that I have now don't do anything, but like we never see that side of them. Like we never see that side of them in my elementary school. All my teachers who were well rounded, like you knew that they were well rounded and like
and you experienced
they
it.
engaged, with us. So
yeah, and that helps because I think to see that side of them makes you know that they're teachers, but they also have hobbies. They also have one of your teachers, she used to and I think that's the same when you're talking about they play guitar. She used to do shows and stuff, and
yeah, she used to do shows.
Right, and invite the parents to come see the show. Like she'd rock out in shows, and so they needed to see that to know that you don't have to just be this one thing fitting in this one mold, And so, just wanted to share that and say that now he's in high school. He had that experience. Middle school, he had that transition, and guess what? Middle school is supposed to be about that. It's 3 grades that you get an opportunity to like organize yourself more and recognize, okay, here's what I might want to be and do when I grow up, and then you can kind of get your focus. But you have those 3 grades to do that, and that's okay. And then by the time you hit high school, you could just bang it out and do what you take the skills that you learned from middle school, but take the exposures that you got in elementary school and you piece them all together for high school. And would you say you do that?
Yeah.
Right. And like he's organized now, and he had to go through his trials in middle school and learn how to use a planner and learn how to use a calendar and learn how to use, and be more time, handle his time and time management and things like that. Elementary school, that's not what it's about. It's about the exposures. And so, to that I say, parents, to each his own, and to definitely, whatever you think your child needs, fine. Not bashing you, but do a little research. Get a little bit of an understanding about what is age appropriate and developmentally appropriate. Is drilling a child, drilling concepts into their head in elementary school, is that the most developmentally appropriate thing that you can do? Or can you just burn them out by the time they get to 5th grade? Because that can happen. 1 second, my love. 1 second.
Can I use that rocket ship?
Yep, 1 second. Give me 1 moment. Okay.
Wait, Shala.
1 second. So, just about what's age appropriate, not necessarily what you think they should be doing because you're looking to what they need to be like in college, so that by the time they're 4, when they're 4, you're looking and like, yeah, for college they're gonna need to be like this, so make sure by 4 that this is what they're doing, or at 4 that this is what they're doing. Doesn't work like that. It builds. It builds. So All right, now we are done because she is about to be done and she stayed quiet enough. Thank you. Not so bad, right?
Nah, sure.
Not so bad. All right. Thanks so much for joining us, or joining me, joining us, and I look forward to speaking to you all next week. And take care. Be healthy. Be blessed. Be safe. Talk to you later. Bye bye.